Welcome, everyone, to the first of many presidential debates for 2012. We're coming to you live. This is an unrehearsed debate. I'm your moderator, Ken Skylighter. Now, we'll be presenting questions to the individual candidates who will have 30 seconds to respond, and rebuttals are permitted. All questions come from average citizens who have been polled on our website. And so, let me introduce our candidates. To our left is the incumbent candidate, Tom Hinker. And to the right, the challenger, Governor Bill Williams. Let the debate begin. Our first question comes from coal miner Bill McGrudger from Wheeling, West Virginia. He asks, what do you think should be done at this point about the huge financial crisis that plagues our nation? Mr. Hinker.
Well, Ken, I think that Mr. McGrudger, like millions of others, share the same feeling, that their voices are not being heard, that they're feeling the effects of the financial misdoings on Wall Street and throughout corporate America. This sends a clear signal that tougher financial reforms are in order, and Congress needs to approve them right away so that this can never happen again.
Mr. Williams, your rebuttal.
Can I paraphrase my mentor, the late, great Ronald Reagan, when he said that homeless people want to be homeless? My take on it is that poor people must want to be poor. Otherwise, they'd be rich, right? I mean, this is America, land of opportunity. You can be anything you want to be. Everyone should stop pointing the finger and start being the best you can be.
Mr. Williams, I don't think that exactly addressed the question.
Well, sure it did. Look, anyone can be rich. All they have to do is go out there and get after it. Just look at me. I've lost count of how many millions I do have, and on top of that, what does it even matter? The bottom line is that it is up to each person to go out and get a job and work their way to the top.
Mr. Hinker, rebuttal?
Yes, I think this attitude about the poor and disenfranchised is exactly the kind of behavior that has led to this crisis in the first place. This is evident by the...
This is the 21st century. There's plenty to do out there. If you can't find a job, invent one. It's not rocket science.
What's not rocket science?
Any of it. It's very simple. A job is a job whether you find one or invent one.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Let's move on to jobs, in fact. There are those, like auto plant worker Ricky Watts in Lansing, Michigan, who ask why their jobs are being shipped overseas. Mr. Williams.
Look, in order for a company to remain profitable, whether in Michigan, Texas, or anywhere else, they have to find the cheapest labor available, whether that is in their communities or elsewhere.
And if that means out of the country...
So be it. I envision an America where we do all the hiring, but all of the workers are overseas.
All of the workers?
Sure. That would mean we here in America would all be bosses, right? We'd all elevate from worker to boss. Let the others do all the work.
Mr. Hinker.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Try, please.
Yes, well, it seems Mr. Williams hasn't spent much time in the workplace lately.
I have businesses all over this country, and I know exactly what's happening.
Which is?
American workers must not want their jobs very badly.
What?
They don't seem to want to work harder than the other guy for less money to keep those jobs.
Yes, well, let's move off of jobs. Here's another question from Ashley Burris of Lanham, Maryland. She wants to know each of your specific plans to stimulate the economy. Let's go to Mr. Hinker for this one.
All right. A full outline of my plan is easily accessible on my website, but my plan involves a strategic reduction in the military budget, still keeping our military as the best funded one in the world, but using a sizable chunk of that budget for major public works projects. We're going to build new light rail systems, revamp our roads and bridges, invigorate our airports and harbors. This is a national plan which will create hundreds of thousands of jobs over the next 25 years. Now, every major news organization in the country endorses my plan.
Right. Let's go to a foreign policy question.
Wait, I'd like to give my answer.
Maybe we can come back to it later.
No, that's unfair.
Okay. What's your plan?
The moon.
What?
The moon. I quote John F. Kennedy. We choose to go to the moon.
So you want to revitalize the space industry?
Well, no.
What then?
A lunar colony.
You're not serious.
Has a heart attack. With apologies to our viewers with heart problems. You see, the moon is a great untapped resource. I mean, sure, we can build bridges and tunnels and other such claptrap, but why not do it on a new frontier instead of the same tired old places? The next frontier, it's universally agreed upon, is outer space.
So who would live on this space colony?
Well, my plan is better than Mr. Hinker's plan in this respect. It requires no new taxes, none. My lunar colony will be totally privately funded.
So I get this straight. Who would get to live on this colony if there's not any public money behind it?
Well, naturally, it would be by invite only.
You've got to be kidding.
Of course not. Well, of course, eventually we would have a prison, at which point we would open up the moon to everybody.
I'll pass on my rebuttal.
Surely. Let's move on to health care.
Yes, let's.
Okay. This one comes from Massachusetts and Andy Fleming. He asks why the American healthcare system is no longer the best in the world and what we need to do to get it back to the top.
I'll take that one.
This is Mr. Hinker's question.
He's answered enough questions.
This is an organized debate, sir.
Okay. Rules are rules. You wonder why people dislike government.
Mr. Hinker, healthcare?
Yes, well, my plan covers all Americans, not just the privileged, and makes the health insurance industry one that serves the people, not a system which solely serves the health insurance companies. It's time to do the correct thing and level the playing field.
Seems Mr. Williams has a response.
Look, no one promised you a rose garden. If you need better health care, you have to pay higher prices. Like anything else, you want a better car, it's going to cost you more, right?
Sir, what about the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness?
That's just happy talk.
Excuse me?
Gobbledygook meant to confuse people. Let's get real. We have the best health care in America because we have the richest people in the richest country, period. If you aren't happy, when you get sick, go to Canada and see how you like it.
Sir, Canada's healthcare is rated as better than the United States.
That's just paperwork. Let's deal with reality.
Mr. Hinker, you are passing on another rebuttal, I assume?
Oui.
Moving right along.
Right, let's keep this moving.
Right. Foreign policy. America has been involved in many conflicts over the past dozen years or so. How do you plan to deal with overseas issues if you win the general election this year? This is from Timothy Stumer in Boise, Idaho.
Start bombing immediately. I'm kidding. Of course. Kidding.
Mr. Hinker, please.
Yes.
Please.
Well, America has the greatest fighting force in the world, bar none. We all know that. We have nothing to prove. But now we need to show the world that unless it's absolutely necessary, we will not send our brave young men and women into harm's way. We simply need to make stronger and more guarded judgments about the deployment of troops overseas. We must only do so in the definitively most dire of circumstances.
Sounds like he's waffling.
Pardon me?
Here's what's going to happen. And this comes straight from the top. My best advisors have outlined this scenario exactly. Greece has an economy that's in a state of total disrepair. And who has the lead on controlling the Greek recovery? Germany. Yeah, but not that Germany, the new Germany. And guess what? They are our strongest ally in Europe. So you can see where this is going. Greece is going to get to the point where they've had enough of being controlled. And what are they going to do? Well, they'll have no choice but to attack Germany. Yep, there goes the European Union at that point. Soon Spain and Ireland and Italy, who are also in the toilet, will join in on the attack. And there will be a full-scale invasion of Germany. Well, guess what, my friends? America's interests are completely with Germany these days. That means that we will need to protect them. We're talking about protection, not a war. But U.S. troops will be deployed across Europe to keep the peace. We will call it Operation Peace and Freedom. And it's inevitable. That's what's going to happen.
Ken, I have absolutely nothing to say.
Me neither.
But that's just the start of it.
Oh, God.
What if England fails, then France? We can't just sit by and watch it happen. None of this America First garbage. We are going to have to spread our troops all over the continent. We are talking full-scale deployment. Operation Peace Freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Skylighter bidding you farewell.
That's just the beginning. Then China, Australia, South America, it will be a worldwide operation with America at the forefront. We'll be international peacekeepers. And you know what? They will love us for it.
Good night.